Hello, everybody. This is Danielle from WUSA Holistic Health Coaching, back again to have another soulful conversation that I hope that you will enjoy talking about as much as I do. I think that there's something super important that we need to discuss, and that is the topic of forgiveness and grudges and living in the past. You might be thinking to yourself, what does that have to do with holistic health? You are all about mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical well-being, also known as homeostasis. And we get to that point in life where we have bouncy energy and we're feeling good and everything's working right. We have lots of energy. Here are some of the biggest things to hinder that happening for us: living in the past, holding grudges, and refusing to forgive not only others, but ourselves. Have you ever heard that expression, I'm just over here so upset, I am just like drinking this poison and waiting for the other person to die? Well, that's how it works. Some people hold grudges from the past like a badge of honor. Like, you'll hear people saying stuff like they think it's cute, like, today ain't the day and I ain't the one. Or, oh, you better ask somebody. Like, is that your reputation, that you're always trying to fight? You're always ready to just pounce. You are ready to bring up somebody's infractions from a million years ago every chance you get. You're interjecting comments into conversations from 20, 30 years ago that no one even knows what you're talking about. Guess what? Who's the one paying the high price for that kind of behavior? The one doing it. It is not the one you're mad at. It's the person holding all the poison inside of themselves. And boy, can I speak on this because I've done it. Not on purpose, not knowingly. I didn't know that I was upset from decades ago about something. But here's the thing. For me, once I know that's what I'm doing, I'm ready to get rid of it as fast as possible. Because for my why is important enough to me. Homeostasis is important enough to me. Health and vitality is important enough to me that I'm not trying to hold on to old junk, old poison, old grudges, especially when the other person has no idea what you're even talking about. So why are you still holding on to it? Why are you still talking about it? Why are you still thinking about it? Why are you still dwelling on it? Why are you still telling other people about it? And it happened maybe even in childhood. I can remember recently in our family, we were having a discussion about a woman who our parents knew each other when we were little kids, and we as adults now had no idea that one of the parents had beef with one of our parents from when we were all kids. And we're like, I wonder what this is even about, and it's just so sad because then that kind of trickles down, and then maybe it affects the kid's attitude toward you, and you were just a kid and you don't even know, well, what are you even talking about? Well, remember that time when I was 10 and you was 13, or I was 13 and you were 10 and you asked to borrow my shirt, and you're like, what? You don't like me because 100 years ago I asked to borrow your shirt? Literally think about this. People are sick today. Sick with serious chronic illnesses and diseases because of stuff like that. Things that happened when people were babies, toddlers, children, didn't know any better, would have done better if they knew how to do better, and they're still talking about it, dwelling on it, mad about it, allowing it to impact their own health, well-being, vitality, mental health, emotional health, in therapy over it because they just refuse to let it go. Now, I get it. There's one thing to be unknowingly upset. Like, there's things that you've gone through for decades and you didn't even know it was bothering you. Okay, that's fair. Once you know, then you go to work on it. Maybe you do hire a therapist. Maybe you do go see an EMDR specialist. Maybe you do see a kinesiologist. Maybe you go to a traditional therapist. Whatever you do, you work through it to resolve it so that you can release it and let it go, knowing that holding all that negativity and all that toxic energy in your body is the absolute recipe for disaster, chronic illness, and disease. It isn't worth it. especially when the other party who you're so upset with doesn't even know what you're talking about. They don't even remember because they're out there living life, enjoying life, having a good time, which is what we're supposed to be doing with our lives, realizing that our lives are a gift, realizing that we have something that many people don't have, which is today. Many people have already lost their lives before today. So why are we wasting today talking about something that happened a million days ago? Maybe even when people were too small or young to even know the meaning of what it was. Why are you still mad? It's a decision. It really comes down to a decision. Do you want to be happy? Do you want to be healthy? Or do you not? Now, for me, I often have had things happen where I had not a clue that something was upsetting me. In fact, almost every time that it's brought to my attention that a body malfunction, like what you guys all know if you've been watching my videos, I just found out that I had some repressed rage. I had some deep sadness. I had some things I needed to let control of as far as other people's decisions, whether they're right or wrong. Just whatever they choose to do, let it go. Use the let them theory. Refuse to take on negative emotions from other people. Refuse to take on the emotions based on other people's choices, reactions, emotions, how they feel about stuff. It's theirs, it's not mine. Once I know, though, I am not going to hold on so tight to those horrible feelings and continue to make myself sick day in and day out because I just refuse to give that other person the satisfaction of forgiving them. Who am I hurting? I'm not hurting them. I'm hurting myself. So I just think this conversation is really, really important because people are so sick. And there's so many illnesses that people think they don't have a choice. I gotta feel like this. I have to be a migraine sufferer. I have to deal with all this stress. I have to have anxiety disorders. I have to be taking antidepressants. I have to this, I have to that, I have to do the other. But the bottom line is, what if you knew that so many of the reasons why you feel sick is because of the stuff that you think about, talk about, dwell on, and refuse to let go of? Refuse. Like, you have a choice, but I'm not going to give that other person the satisfaction because I would rather be miserable and mad so that the other person can be what? Happy. I mean, they don't even know. So why, what game is this? What is the actual point? And so those are the types of questions that I ask myself. Once I find out what I'm holding, once I found out that I've been holding repressed rage inside of my body, you think I'm going to just sit there with that and be like, okay, yeah, I probably got some good reasons. I'm going to just let that continue to fester, and I'm going to continue to let these cysts grow, and I'm going to continue to let this pain torture me in my stomach. Like, what sense does that make? I'm not doing that. But my question is there things in your life that you're refusing to let go of? You wake up every day feeling like garbage, and you know that you got a grudge against this one, that one, the other one, and you refuse to forgive them. And if anybody gets in my face, I'm going to let them know. And again, known for being a fighter, known for being that person that, oh, don't say nothing to her. You know, she's that one that she's going to pop off and all of that. It's not cute. And it makes you super sick. That's the point that I'm trying to get across. Is this is not just about who's right, who's wrong. It's about, do you want to be healthy? Do you want to be happy, or do you not? What works and what doesn't? What keeps you in your feminine energy, where you can enjoy feel-good hormones and a soft life, or what keeps you in your masculine energy where you ruin your central nervous system and you burn out your adrenal glands and you're dumping cortisol, the belly fat hormone, all over the place? Which one do you want? Is it so important that we hold this grudge? Is it so important that we are mad at somebody and bringing up the past and drudging up all these old stories? Is it so important that we're willing to risk our health for it? For me, that does not make any sense. Once I know that's what I'm doing, once I know that at the subconscious level, something's been bothering me for longer than I had any idea, I'm going to work to get rid of it. Because it is not worth it to me to have something so nasty and so toxic giving that permission to brew in my body and stir up trouble, I don't want to do that. But do you want to do that? That's the question I have, because there's so many people walking around that are sick with unexplained symptoms and body malfunctions. But does it have to be that way? Sometimes not only do we have to forgive other people for what they did or didn't knowingly do to us, because sometimes they didn't even know what they did. I hear stories all the time. Oh, I remember that one time I met you back in 1812, and you slighted me, and I'm like, what? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember that date. I don't know what I might have been going through at that time. I'm sorry, but this is not, that moment does not decide or define who I am 100 years later. Like, why are we still talking about that? So it's fascinating, because when we do that, we don't realize it's a recipe for making ourselves sick. It is a recipe for disaster. You cannot keep drinking that poison and waiting for the other person to die. The person who's dying is you. The person who's dying who does that is me. That's why I don't choose to do that. If I find out I'm holding the poison, I do everything in my power to release the poison, because I don't think it's worth it. I hope that you will think about the fact that it isn't worth it to you either. One of the best ways to get over that is to intentionally live in the present and live for the future. We can't change what happened behind us. I love, I've already said so many times I like to go biblical, because the Bible is a big part of my life. I teach it, I study it, all that. There's a scripture in the Bible that talks about, when you're trying to go forward, but your head is turned backwards, you're going to crash. You can't, and it's common sense. If you're driving the car and your head is forward and you're going forward, but you're turning your head backwards, who's ever been in a car with somebody driving like that? I know I have, and I was terrified. I'm like, can you please watch the road? We're going that way. We are going forward. Why is our hand on the plow with head backwards? Why? It doesn't work. It is going to land you in the ditch. So in this case, we're talking a mental ditch, an emotional ditch, a physical ditch, a spiritual ditch. You're going in the ditch. And we're the ones holding those negative emotions and refusing to forgive, move on, let it go, live in the present, focus on the future. We're going to be the ones that are the sickest people walking and talking. I hope that helps. I hope it makes sense. I hope it helps you to understand why this work is so important to me. Don't just forgive other people, but forgive yourself for forgetting that you shouldn't have been holding it in the first place. I shouldn't have been holding it in the first place. Nobody should be holding it in the first place. Because why? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Feeling good is way too important for me to be holding on to nasty, negative energy from 1912. Who cares? Let it go. Let's have fun. Let's enjoy our lives. Let's think big. Let's dream big. Let's dream with the lid off. Let's go do some stuff. And stop talking about what should have happened, woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's too late anyway. We can't change it. So why not decide who we want to be? And then align and embody that, instead of being like, oh, 100 years ago, so-and-so said this to me, so I guess I'm going to make myself have cancer over it. That literally is a real thing. You could make yourself that sick because you won't stop being so uptight and holding on to all your, whatever you think should have happened back then and it didn't, and you can't control it. Holding all of that is like trying to hold a bomb in your body, hoping that it won't explode. Does that sound like a good idea? It sounds like a terrible idea. So guys, let's stop doing it together. And like I said, I am my first customer, me. And so I've told you guys what I've been going through with this repressed rage that I didn't know I was holding in my body. But now that I do know about it, I've been working diligently to get rid of that and soften and quell. And I know it's working because all of those knots that formed in my stomach, they're flattening out more and more every day, and I have less pain every single day. So that's my body communicating back to me that I'm doing a good job of releasing it and letting it go. And then the next part is don't beat myself up because I made my mistake of holding it when I didn't know I was holding it. Can't do better till you know better. I know better, so I'm about to do better. So now that you know better, will you do better? That's the question. So I hope this conversation was very helpful. If you like this type of content, please subscribe. Please tell other people about my channel. And please give me a like. I really, really appreciate you showing up for me, and I enjoy showing up for you. Yeah, I think this was a really, really important conversation because we all do it. We're imperfect. We have human moments. We get upset. The price is too high to hold it. So forgive people. Stop holding the grudge, and then forgive yourself for forgetting that self-love means we're not going to hold poison in our body and make ourselves sick, because we know that we're supposed to love ourselves and take care of ourselves. All right, so that's my message for today. Don't forget to woosah, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.